Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 267, and today we're doing battle in the Call of the Mountain Gauntlet. And so, you just got a few days left to get you that last check mark, get that last buy as we come into the last chance gauntlet before seasonals. And so hopefully with this, we'll give you a little bit of help in terms of winning a Call of the Mountain Gauntlet. And so, in the Rising Tides Gauntlets, we were kind of toying around with this idea of playing two decks that were just kind of good against the field, right? Not just bringing a full-on good decks, three good deck strategy. We're just bringing two, right? But then we were looking to bring one deck that was just really polarized in its matchups to where if you could spike a really good lineup, you can hopefully come pretty close to a free win. And so it doesn't happen often, but when it does, the payoff's pretty big, and then the downside to bringing that kind of lineup is pretty low. And so as we kind of moved into Call of the Mountain, I was looking to expand on that a little bit, in the sense that what if we just bring one deck that is good against the field, one deck we feel pretty comfortable with bringing against any deck in the format, and then we have a deck that's just really good against aggro, something, say, really tuned to beat the likes of Discard Jinx, Discard Draven, whatever we're calling it these days, and then another deck that's, say, just really good against something like Soraka Tahm Kench. And so that's what we're going to be bringing with today. And so, again, the general idea is that we have one deck that's just good against everything. If opponent figures out what we are doing, I should say, and they ban out our specific deck matchup, then we have a deck that we're fine to play against whatever they're doing. But we're looking for those situations to where the opponent bans the wrong thing, and we get to take in a really good matchup against whatever they're bringing. And so to bring up the lineup, bring up the lists, I think Gangplank Sejuani is the kind of cornerstone to this kind of build. Gangplank Sejuani is kind of psychologically very good, right? It's very good and constructed right now, I should say, on the ladder with the full sets running around. And so people have a bit of familiarity with it and say, oh, that's a good deck, I should just go and ban that one. And that's one of the kind of psychological reactions we're trying to pull off here, is that this is our middle-of-the-road deck. This is our deck that's good against everything. It's not really tuned to beat control. It's not really tuned to beat aggro. It's just good cards in a good deck. It should have a fairly positive win rate against the field. And so to talk to this list specifically, we are playing Powder Pandemoniums. I think Powder Pandemonium, people just didn't realize how good it was back in the Call of the Mountain era. The only things that have really changed since Powder Pandemonium kind of came to the forefront maybe about 6 months ago is the Tusk Speaker and then Swindle. And I don't feel like either of those cards are really enough for us to not warrant playing Powder Pandemonium. I think that the format, just people didn't realize this was a good card. And so we are bringing it in our list here today. The other thing to kind of call out with this Gangplank Sejuani is we are playing the Yordle Grifter. And so this limits our ability to play a lot of Freylord cards. There's not a lot of Freylord cards I want to play anyways, but you're not going to see things like Omen Hawks or Babbling Bjergs in here, because I think it's just so important for the Yordle Grifter to hit that allegiance as often as it can. That does speak to the only other Plunder card you might really consider playing in here. There is the Freylord Plunder thing that gives your top units of your deck a bonus and you draw a unit. I think we're safe enough without it to not necessarily warrant it. We aren't fully all in on the Powder Pandemonium. I like to think of us more as a Gangplank Sejuani deck that has a Powder Pandemonium as kind of a side finish, a side win, the kind of space that you would see a Spirits Within in the current format, in the current constructed, is what we're trying to get out of the Powder Pandemonium. And so that is deck number one, our catch-all, get-anything kind of list. Deck number two, if it wants to load, we're going to be playing Deep. This is our anti-aggro number. Now, I do fully concede, I will say this up front and admit, the likely best deck you can play in this space, the likely best anti-aggro style number that you can bring is the Anivia Harrowing deck. I just hate that deck so much. I think it's so fucking boring to play. I'm not going to have any fun with it. And I think one of the most important things you can do going into a tournament is be prepared to have some fun, right? That's what we're here doing anyways. And if you know a deck is good, but you absolutely abhor playing it, you're not going to have a good tournament and you're not going to play that well as you just kind of grind through the muck every game. And so I'm fine to come out and play deep. I think that this is a fun enough deck. You know, it's got sea monsters and shit in it. That's kind of cool. It's just not the boring snooze fest that is the Anivia deck. And so we have made some specific choices in this deck. Again, this is our kind of anti-aggro number. We're looking to play this against discard Draven or whatever Jinx decks of the format are running around. And so we do have an extra bit of heal. We're playing the full set of Withering Wail and Grasp of the Undying. We also have the full 3 Vile Feasts, and then the Thorny Toad and Deadbloom Wanderer. And so we have this massive collection of stuff that can hopefully help tide us over if our opponent is dropping a bunch of Jinxes on us and trying to get the Death Rockets in. Hopefully we can stall that just long enough for our sea monsters to kind of come in and do their thing. That ties in to our champion selection. We're playing the full 3 copies of Twisted Fate, no copies of Maokai. I just want to have access to that AoE. I want to have the red cards. I want to be able to AoE down whatever aggression is coming at us. And then in terms of our sea monster selection, we aren't playing any of the big boys. There's not the treasure guy. There's not the -2 attack guy. We aren't looking to play any of that stuff. It's just the games should just get ended by the strength of the powerful units we have going deep. And so that's why you only see like 2 copies of the Abyssal Eye in here. We're really looking to just stall into that late game. And then whatever big dudes we have in the late game should be enough to take it down. So that's deck number 2. Deck number 3 is my absolute favorite. This is my deck that we have gone just full greed mode on, and we're looking to take up against our opponent's control deck numbers. And so I will tell you, if you can ever spike playing against like a Tom Kench with this beast that we've presented to you here, get yourself ready because you're just going to smoke that game so super fast. It's going to be sweet. And so as you typically see in the Aurelian Soul ramp decks, you have to have like a lot of early game, a lot of things like Avalanche and Blighted Ravines and the current metas, maybe even things like Flash Freezes just to slow down your opponents. But if you're coming in with the mindset that you just absolutely never have to play against an aggro deck, then you could just cut all that shit out. And so we're not doing any of that. We are full on greed mode in terms of the ramp. We have the 3 Catalysts of the Aeons, the 3 Targon's Peaks, the 3 Voices of the, or I'm sorry, not the Voices of the Old Gods, the Faces of the Old Ones as the kind of standard ramp package. But we're also bringing in an additional 2 copies of the Weirding Stones as another early game something to do that also ramps us, and 1 copy of Divergent Paths as a means to search up our Targon's Peaks. We do have a bit of mid-game stuff with the Sunbursts and the Star Shapings. I do concede that you may have to interact with your opponent just a little bit, but not too much, just a little bit of something, just a 1 spell that we can cast somewhere along the way. In terms of our late game package, we're only playing 2 copies of She Who Wanders. We don't expect to have to play against too many small units, and so I don't feel the urgency of drawing these super fast. And then we're playing the Infinite Mind Splitter as a nice just board control dude, kind of a removal spell all tied in to an expensive bro, is kind of the best option that we have in the late game space here. And so those are the decks. That's what we'll be doing battle with today. You know what we have to do before the battles begin, though. We got to go and pay the pay-to-win price. And it's going to be the time for Abyssal Eye today. This is another one I was really surprised that we haven't turned premium yet. This was kind of a staple of Expedition, but Bilgewater was pretty terrible in Expedition, and so I'm not completely surprised that he didn't make the cut. And so on we go. Mountain Deep, Mountain Pandemonium, Mountain Ramp. The decks are selected. The battles can begin. So let's jump on in. Good stuff. I hope we get to play so much Aurelian Soul Ramp today. It's going to feel pretty good. Pretty good just going full greed mode. I love it. And so in terms of the picks and bans, the thing that we're looking to just get rid of the most is going to be the Anivia deck. None of our lineup is particularly well situated to deal with it. You can run the ramp decks into Anivia, but I don't like that running into that potential scenario where we have to play Gangplank Sejuani against it. It's just not the kind of ideal space. It's not the most horrific matchup. You can still spike wins with it, but that's the one that kind of goes biggest against the theme. It's like I finally just accepted that we shouldn't be banning Jinx Draven. We should just be leaving that up in our lineup and kind of going from there. So, okay, interesting set. We got, what is this, Hecarim Thresh with Ionia. I assume that's some kind of Ephemerals deck. There's the Yasuo, who we never give any respect to. And then I assume to be some kind of Overwhelms deck down here with Darius, Katarina, plus Freylord. And so I'm going to leave the Leona deck up. I just never looked to ban that. I think all of our decks are fine against it. I feel like the potential for Overwhelms is probably the toughest one for us to have to deal with over here, so we can get it out of the way. Now, we are in this kind of split to where it's a kind of control deck with Yasuo and aggro deck with Hecarim. With that being split, I'm just going to run our Gangplank Sejuani into them. And so if we knew that we were playing against Hecarim Thresh, then I would feel kind of okay with bringing the deep deck, but since we had to leave it split, I'm going to want to bring Gangplank here. Okay, up against the old Ephemerals, and reasonable enough start here. We have a lot of early game in terms of powering off. I kind of want a unit. It's like, it's tough for us here that we can't really hard mulligan for units because we only play 6 1-drops, but that would be the kind of ideal thing to find. And so I worry about the likes of something like Make It Rain, though. It's something that it should be good if opponent has Shark Chariot draws, but if they don't have them, then it's probably not particularly exciting. Alright, so no turn 1 play. It's okay. I'm not ready to just go all in with these parlays. I feel like I'm a little confused here as to how, control decky this thing is going to be with the Thresh in it. But I don't feel like we have to all in to try and get a turn 5 or a turn 6 flipped Gangplank. But it's reasonable now. We picked up 2 card draw cards in the Yordle Grifter and the Zap, so if opponent looks to pass again or whatever, we can still just parlay and then monkey business, and that'll kind of tie us into turn 4 to where we should be able to generate another damage card and pick up the champions. Is opponent even here? Are you doing stuff, guy? Did you drop your phone in the toilet? Lots of options, so many possibilities that could have happened. Alright, well, I'm doing the classic play, parlay to the face, spend a slow card, deal 1 damage to the opposing face. It's classically terrible. But we'll be fine. It's got a means to an end. Means to an end. Well, opponent seems to be here. We played the parlay, and then it seemed like they clicked a button. Now they're back to thinking forever. Oh, maybe he's trying to play in the middle of class or something. He's afraid old Professor Oak's going to eyeball him down, see him playing video games in the middle of his learning sesh. All right, pretty reasonable though. We don't have a play for this turn, which is a bit unfortunate, but we're built up kind of nicely after this. There's the Shark Chariot. So we'll have to try and do what we can to keep his ephemerals off of the board. You can, kind of control them reasonably with all of our one damage kind of cards, but things like Darkwater Scourge don't make it any easier. Oh, hell yeah, Haunted Relic. Just what we needed. Stygian Onlooker. Okay. So, I mean, he's going to be bringing back what's his name? The Shark Chariot off of this attack. It's not that big of a deal. We'll just come in and prevent the damage with our Grifter and call it a day. Ooh. That's kind of nasty. Alright, well, play your dumb card then. We'll play your dumb card to prevent all this damage. And so, we do have to... He does get to gain the 5 health back with the Scourge. Kind of unfortunate, but we get to stall the game out a little bit longer. That feels like a win for us. We're right on track with leveling up our champions. And so, if we can draw one, we should be set. The opposing deck does have a real struggle with the likes of Sejuani. So they have to have the Vengeance. If they don't have the Vengeance, they don't really have an answer to the Frostbite your team mode. Actually, let's get Shell Shocker in here. I mean, if he wants to block with Ren and we get to take him down with a Make It Rain, that feels like a win. I don't know about you, but I'm all about winning. Number one, have fun. Number two, win, right? Nothing about learning. None of that learning stuff. None of that getting better thing. Just, just get out there and win. All right, Hecarim is a problem, though. Let's get this Yordle Grifter down and see if we can't draw something useful out of the opposing deck. Deny could be useful at some point, but this Hecarim is going to be a little nasty. Definitely want to put the damage on him. It's the question's like, what do we do with this Zap? He's not doing a lot, but we don't have a lot of aggression for the upcoming turns. Like, I guess we have to get aggressive at some point with these warning shots and the like, but this is kind of painful here. It's like, how do we win the game if we don't have these Zaps and we don't have a champion? And so I think we're going to keep him up. Alright, need to deal damage to the opponent. I don't want to really spend to Make It Rain, but I want our mana to be efficient here. So we'll get that tick in, and we'll see if we can't get a good draw on this upcoming turn. I guess I could see an argument here if, like, our Sejuani is so important to us, then having that extra point of mana could have been pretty important there, in the sense that we could have had Deny plus Sejuani this turn, so maybe we should have just played a warning shot there and called it a day. Alright, we picked up a Ren. Not good. This Hecarim is scary. But we can come in with the Zaps, we can come in with the monkey business. We need to leave our other bros back. Can't just be trading dudes for a Shadow Fiend here. Looks like, I mean, it is a fairly defensive Shadow Fiend. I assume that he's probably got the... oh, just make him blockers. Interesting. I was going to say, I assume that he's just got a thing that removes Ephemeral from one of your guys and puts it on another guy. Interesting that he drops the Blighted Caretaker in here now, though. Well, I don't think we need Deny this turn. I don't think it's going to do anything. Sure. So yeah, we're probably just dead on this upcoming turn. He's lined up pretty well to just open attack on us, and we don't have an answer to this Hecarim, and so not feeling really good about this. If we had if we get to just defensively powder Pandemonium, then we have a shot. Ooh, ooh, nice. It gets us fairly close to a lethal. The 2 damage from the Pandemonium, the 3 damage from the warning shots. It's 5. Again, the Hecarim is the problem point here, but he shouldn't be lethaling us with Hecarim this turn. Interesting. Okay. Alright, so we could put... Oh, we're just getting lethal like that? Okay, there goes the block. I was like, are we really just getting lethal this turn? I don't understand. But I want to take Hecarim down to the 1 health. So if we do pick up a pick up a spell, then we have some potential to take him down. Black Spear is okay. It's not worth a deny, I don't think. I think I'd rather save the deny for opponent having like a Unspeakable Horror or something. Here's your window. Doesn't have anything. Okay, so if we pick up a champion, we might get this. Black Market Merchant, you're not the champion we were looking for. Alright, what you got now? Stygian Onlooker. Not the champion we were looking for. I think we're just dead at this point, but we'll give it a shot. We should be able to, at least on this board, attack with both Ren and the dog. All right, just give me some more sad noises. Yeah, there's nothing in our deck that'll get us out of this. I guess if he wants to like tool around next turn, we could potentially get Sejuani, and then if we get a Sejuani on board, that'll give us a shot. But nope, nothing coming together. GG. That's tough. It's we're playing a very champion-centric deck, and when you don't draw any of the champions, it's tough to win. But GG's, on to the next one. All right, next round. Let's see if we can't salvage. Can't keep this from just being a loss on number one. Can't win them all. What do we got here? So this is a tough spot. I would really love to just ban out Scouts, the Quinn Misfortune deck to the left, and hope that Nivea has to do battle against our ramp deck. But it's just too much. You can't you can't go up against that. Do you want to? What do you think the chances are that he plays Tom Kench against what we're doing? You know what? Let's just go for it. Let's just bring the ramp and see if we get the free win. Again, we are not well tuned against Scouts, but like I can't imagine that you want to take Scouts against Deep. That seems kind of odd to me. And so this should be good. We should be pretty safe in this matchup. It's odd with the Targon's Peak. Like you want it, but it's not nearly as good without any ramp in your hand. And so we're gonna have to find something here early. Hopefully we can find it. I mean, we are playing a bit more of a ramp heavy early game. So you don't typically play a lot of stuff like what's your name? I can't even remember the name because we never play it. Weirding Stones in your ramp decks. All right, opponent's doing stuff. So let's just drop the Kindly Tavern Keeper. Just get that mana spent. I would like to go ahead and clear some of this stuff out of our hand, given that we do have the Targon's Peak in hand. And so if we want to hit things like the Infinite Mind Splitter with our Targon's Peak, don't really want to be hitting Zoe or a Divergent Paths. Alright, Zoe, let's see if you can't draw something cool. Not a terrible world to be hitting a Silence. He's tapped down below Hush mana as well, so we should be pretty safe with our Zoe. We did find it. All right, enjoy your 0-2, my friend. And then it is interesting with the Divergent Paths. Like, we aren't currently scared of this Star Spring, but we do have the removal spell for it should we need it. All right, looks like Tom Kench is going to come down and be mean to our Zoe, but I think it's okay. We have a second copy in hand, and We're realistically looking to just feel the rush with Zoe, and so it's not that big of a loss. Interesting now, though, he only has 1 mana. Should be able to attack with a Star Shepherd. Alright, so the Targon's Peak did not land where we wanted. A little bit sad. Not the best turn for us, but it's okay. It's almost tempting to just go ahead and draw the other landmark to get it out of our hand, but I think it's okay. We're just like 1 big boy away from ending this, whether or not that's finding She Who Wanders or finding Feel the Rush. Even Aurelion Soul would be quite good here. So we'll just keep on passing. Whoa. Is he big enough to survive this? Oh man, he just eats our Mind Splitter. Oh jeez. He's a big boy, Tom Kench. Whoever wants... the Star Spring's too low. I like that it's taking up this board space here. Let's just go ahead and leave it.
We're all family here. I feel better when you feel better.
Alright, deck, what you got for us? Another Targon's Peak? This is not good. This is not good. I was hyping up how easy the match is, but when things come down like this, it's a little bit more challenging. We just haven't drawn any of our top end. It doesn't matter how much you ramp if you don't draw anything to play with it. Alright, the dudes have been eaten. Sad day for them. Gotta get our Tavern Keeper on board to keep this Star Shepherd threatened.
Deadly paths, just another day in Targon.
And it's kind of a bummer. We've lost out on our Faces of the Old Ones. They aren't ready to give us the ramp anymore. So he leaves dude at home. All right, take 7.
We're all family here.
And something good. The game can only turn our divergent paths, turn it free so many times. Oh, getting a little overwhelmed for Tom Kench, huh? Okay. You didn't draw another one. Where did that even come from? So the thing that I wanted to call out, we could kind of watch for. We never had an opportunity to do it, but we could have potentially played Zoe and then used Zoe as a means to generate the Paddle Star and then use the Paddle Star to try and take down Tom Kench. It didn't come together, so we weren't able to do it, but would have been a potential way to get a kill there. And feel the rush. Something. Anything. Literal anything, game. Sure. Oh, he must just have all his Zenith Blades in his hand. Gotcha.
Round 'em up.
I've got this.
Alright, a little Harsh Winds protection. Not taking too much damage now. Looks like 4 coming at us. It's probably about a safe enough time to Divergent Paths this Star Spring. Let's get this stuff out of our hand. And alright, maybe we'll draw something good. How many times do you have to ask for it? Say, come on, game, give me something big. Something good. His last card has to just be Zenith Blade in hand, and so... We'll see. We'll try. What you got for us? Star shaping. And so that's tough. Like both of our Zoes are free. We need to like get the trouble bubble onto this guy in the back line. So these cards are all booty. We have to take the Living Legends. And then like I think we might be able to pass. He'll play the Acquired Taste onto Faces of the Old Ones. And then we can look to play Zoe and then use Zoe to take down the Star Shepherd. But if we play Zoe first and then he eats her with the Acquired Taste, then we can't play our backup spells.
Look after our own.
I assume he's gonna Acquired Taste the Faces of the Old Ones, right?
Allow me a small
This attack never goes wrong, right? Hush costs 3 mana. He's only got 1. It looks like it wants to go. Oh my god, are you serious? Oh my god. Oh no. Oh, what a just absolute disaster. Well, I guess. I forgot about our Targon's Peaks, but I guess he doesn't have any more Zenith Blades at this point, and so we might be able to get out of this with the Living Legends. Oh my gosh. Just the other thing is like there's nothing he could have to get out of this, right? And then turns out there is. All right, did we find an answer? There's a Crescent Strike in here. So we can look to we don't have to Crescent Strike it, but that's probably going to be the safest way to go about it. And then I guess we could just follow up with like the Scourge. The other option in there being we can look to just play Written in the Stars and hopefully draw Aurelian Soul. That one's a little sketchier than I like. I guess the other question is, do we just need like a spell shielded unit? Right, because he's going to have the Acquired Taste next turn, and turns out Tom Kench is big enough to just eat. Yeah, he's big enough just to eat an Aurelian Soul. So, I mean, what if instead of that just seems so bad if we're going to like play the Infinite Mind Splitter and put Moonglow on it. Does that ever like we do get the shutdown on the Star Shepherd at that point, but I don't think I like it. Can we ever just send the Scourge into Tom Kench? Where does that get us? Try and keep him from playing Acquired Taste.
appetizers of plenty.
I mean, that works, right? It's been a while since I've dealt with this stuff, but if he wants to Acquired Taste our dude now, then he loses the combat. Okay, well, if we go into this next turn and get a stun on the Star Shepherd and the Tom Kench, it should be pretty tough for him to try and win the game now. What does this even do? Makes a really big Tom Kench. Okay. It strikes him, then he captures it. So both of our units are big enough to deal with the Tom Kench now. At least, I guess the important thing for this turn is he's going to remain stunned. Cannot find a Obliterate. Is this one any better? We got a lot of moon silvers, which is kind of interesting, but all right.
Deadly paths, just another day.
I don't think anybody cares about those, right?
They're out there. I'll spot them.
All right, Tom Kench can eat this guy, right? But then we get to draw a card. That's not so bad. He just pops the spell shield. Sure.
You had your chance to walk away.
All right, we're good now, right? Is this finally done? Are we finally okay? Oh my goodness. What a grind fest. Alright, he's played his last card. So we should be good here. He shouldn't have an answer to our Great Beyond.
Let us peruse this establishment's fate.
I mean, we don't even care about the Tom Kench, right? Alright, Jesus. I assure you that that game should have been much easier. It should have been much easier. Exactly what we were looking for with this deck, and just to have it go so deep was pretty painful. But you at least get to see why we're looking to play this Aurelion Soul deck, even though the game did not go very well. It just a real pain there. But it wouldn't have felt nearly as bad or as close if we hadn't have attacked Zoe into that hush, I don't think. I think that would have been a little bit better, a little bit safer for us. And so here, excuse me, I'm okay to take Aurelion Soul against the Twisted Fate deck and the opposing Feel the Rush deck. So I'm just going to ban out Leona. It can be a little awkward as you try and take your Aurelion Soul deck into an opposing one, and the Targon's Peak don't land exactly how you want. And so let's just take it up against either of these control numbers. The thing to note with Twisted Fate Swain is I think Scorched Earth is in the format. I think that's a thing. And so there is some potential for him to blow up the Targon's Peak if that's all our plan is. But this otherwise should be a fairly slow deck. They can come at you kind of aggressively with like House Spiders, but I think that we should be safe until that point rolls itself around. Dreadway Deckhand. Okay. Alright, I got my ramp, bro. It begins. Uh-oh. He's gonna make it rain down our Weirding Stones. Great draw with the voices of the old ones, though. I like getting the big ramp this turn. Let's wait till he attacks, I guess. Shouldn't change anything, but we'll wait. Right, and we pick up a Feel the Rush. So the Infinite Mind Splitter isn't super safe in this match. It's a little unfortunate for it, but if we can just stall a little bit longer to She Who Wanders, hopefully we'll be okay. All right, the Infinite Mind Splitter is online. Opponent's attack here, kind of lethal. We have some heal in hand with these star shapings, but it doesn't feel like it's enough. This is a deck that should be able to send a little bit of burn to face, so we might just be a little bit too slow against this start.
Shuffle. Such little lies.
All right, well, let's play an expensive card. I assume I assume this is going to die relatively quickly. But oh, do you know what he's going to get us with? I tell you what's about to happen. He's going to play Death's Hand and hit us for 2 damage with the powder keg. Oh, we made it through the turn. Whew. Okay, okay. We got a chance for the excitement to begin. So I mean, if he didn't have the burn last turn, let's just go ahead and She Who Wanders, right? It's literally everything. Okay, okay. Alright, let me get to that heal. We didn't hit anything in hand. That's a little bit scary, but... this game's dumb. This game's dumb. The Leviathan. Come on. Alright, are we just too greedy for this deck? And a burn spell, okay. Maybe we're too greedy. Maybe if we included avalanches in our deck it wouldn't have been as bad, but sad day. Alright, on to the next one. Maybe we learned our lesson with that. Maybe we're just a little too greedy. You can never be too greedy though, right? And so here, interesting set. Like we can't look to bring Aurelion Soul. It's not going to work against either Jinx Draven or this other deck here. I think I'm fine to just ban out Jinx Draven. It's probably the best deck that he has access to. I'm surprised he leaves Deep up. That's kind of interesting. I'm curious what deck he looks to bring against it, but both of these should be fine. It's just the Braum deck is so mid-rangey that I feel pretty good with Deep, and then if he brings the Ephemerals, we do have a lot of drains and stuff to try and fight through his cards. Reasonable start. I like the Beast Below in this space because it's capable of dealing with Callista, right? It's big enough to get in front of a 3/4. Alright, I'm blocking. Just gonna prevent all the damage that we can. Alright, nothing to play. We'll lead out with the Thorny Toad. If he plays a dude we can hit with Vile Feast, then we'll kill it. If he doesn't, we'll just jettison to make sure we don't lose out on the mana. Feels okay. Lucian alone isn't enough aggression for me to be worried here. So it seems like he's about to get gold carded, but I was curious if he was going to have the Callista as well. So this does have the opportunity to just get boomed if he has Haunted Relic. Ah, fuck. Just the actual have-it-alls. Like nothing with that worked out, right? We didn't have a removal for Lucian. He played the Callista, so we couldn't red card. I guess we could have red carded and then Vile Feasted Lucian, but this is just a fucking disaster. And he just passes. It's like, why aren't you attacking with all of your ephemeral friends? Just double check on this. So he gets the flip, but he doesn't get the rally out of it. Okay. Now we should... No, we can't. I was like, we should be able to kill Lucian next turn with Twisted Fate, but that's not... He's going to grow too much. Okay. Not good. Not good, fam. So we got a gold card this Callista. It's like if he has a, I don't know, Glimpse from Beyond. If he has some way to kill off this Mage Seeker Conservator, we can't have him getting rallies and attacking with Callista and bringing all that shit back. Like if he gets a Callista attack, she's going to bring back an Ephemeral. That Ephemeral is going to bring back Shark Chariot. We can't have all that nonsense happening. And so the gold card here is just to stun the Callista. Not real sure why he's dropping Sharp Sights on it, but that's the idea and plan here. Sure. Now he's only got 1 mana left. I don't understand what this is. Okay. "24 cards left, so we can't go deep with the Jettison, but getting Lucian off of the board is critical. It just feels so much better now. We're going to have to do some work with the Callista and with the Neverglade Collector. That's fine. Just getting the Lucian out of here takes away a lot of his scary plays. Now, the fresh question we have is, do we want to throw away Twisted Fate? In the sense that we can... we can just put him in front of something and then play the next one. Or what would we rather just play pick a card? I don't think I want to pick a card.
Charmed, I'm sure.
All right, we'll save him for a moment. Okay. We tried to save you, Steve. It just didn't pan out. Didn't pan out. So where are we at now? 23 cards? I think we just need to get our blockers on board. If we can stall this out just a little bit, I think we'll be okay. Like a single Nautilus should go a long way. We have quite a bit of heal in the face of this Neverglade Collector, so I think that's fine. The other thing to kind of watch for is I don't know if it's going to continue this way, but Callisto was bringing back Shark Chariots. And so if we can set up a space to where we get to Vile Feast the Shark Chariot that Callista brought back, and then actually block and kill her with a deep unit. That's a pretty big angle as well. But we can get there right now. Right, we're at 19. Toss 4 gets us to 15. I think we want to go for that. So let's just add a unit. I don't want to kind of advertise that we can blow up his life. we can end your world, you know? Alright, she brings in the Shark Chariot. Good stuff. So here's the Jettison. That's going to send us deep. Now, see, that kills Callista now because we're killing off the paired unit from her.
Please, I have connections.
I think we still want to come in and block it, just in case something weird happens, but this looks good. His board's gone. We got a bunch of dudes. Still got Twisted Fate in hand, ready to draw a card. Okay. Might have got out of that nastiness. We'll stop and hydrate. Ah, he's got a black spear to take it down. Okay, okay. Still feels like we're in a pretty reasonable spot, though. I just want to go ahead and play the blue card. I want to draw into Nautilus, and so we're getting close. We only got like, what is this, 14 cards left? I just don't want to get into next turn and be like, oh, okay, well, I banked some mana. Now I'm going to play Twisted Fate to draw a card, and then you draw the card and it's Nautilus and you can't play it. The mana is not as important at this point. Banking isn't super relevant. Grasp of the Undying is kind of interesting, though. It does potentially let us kill either Callista or the Collector if we attack with all of our non-1/1 units. It's a potential to take her down. Alright, there goes the Vengeance. That was the first one that I've noticed. Just draw pure garbage. Say, hey guys, I know what we can do. We can just draw pure garbage. There's only 9 cards left. 3 copies of Nautilus in there. You gotta find it eventually, man. Alright, well, let's see what opponent does, though. I figure this is a spot to where he's either going to get like crazy with the blocks, right? He's going to send his dudes down into the trenches, or you just take it. Like I think the realistic question is, like, do I start to die to atrocities here? And it's a real thing. You definitely can. It's like I don't like this to a degree, because if he has the removal spell on Twisted Fate now, this Grasp of the Undying doesn't do anything. It's like I'm kind of considering just getting rid of Twisted Fate, but he's also kind of close to leveling up. Like, one salvage would have gotten him up to 7. Like, we draw a card and then the salvage gives us +2. Probably should have just gone for the damage, but all right though. Trial doesn't end there. We continue on. We'll see if we can't go with the Greedfest Aurelian Soul, lose, and then play a different deck. Get a victory that way. Good stuff. These have been fun games, though, man. That's all that really matters. Go out there and have a good time. You're having a good time. I know. I can tell. Okay, so this is a clear kind of aggro lineup. In this space, like, it's an aggro deck in Elise, an aggro deck in Zed Hecarim, and then some kind of control decky number in this. Like, I still don't understand what this weird Freylord deck people play is, but I want to take the Freylord deck out. If he leaves deep up, I'd love to play deep against either of these decks. He didn't do it, so we have to fall back to Gangplank Sejuani. Still fine. All the AoEs and 1 damage pings tend to be pretty good against both of these decks. It'd be much better on the attack, but it's okay. If he no plays and we get to Shell Shocker and then double plunder the Jagged Butchers next turn, that'd be pretty big. I'm not sure how I feel about it anymore when that just pure aggression is coming at us, but like the thing with the Jagged Butchers is the opposing deck does play a lot of 2/3s, and getting access to the Butchers as 3/3s is important in shutting that down. And then it's also, you have to remember we're playing Powder Pandemonium, right? We're not playing just Gangplank Sejuani, and so the double plunders goes a long way in terms of picking up the big Pandemoniums. All right, Zed's annoying, but not the end of the world. Now, I'm leaning towards just playing the Butcher and opening next turn. Like, we're going to have to keep throwing stuff in front of Zed, and then if he really wants to just take 10 damage, I'm not opposed to that, right? We're getting him really close to lethals at that point with our random bad burn. So let's send in the squad. There is a chance that, like, he gets Zed into combat because he has a Twin Disciplines or something, but if he's just straight up taking this 10, it gets us so close to lethal next turn. Cool. Now we get to double Black Market Merchant, maybe pick up a combat trick or something. He's gonna have the transfer ephemeral. That's fucking annoying. There's no reason to play this turn if you don't have the transfer ephemeral. It just takes so much to work through that dum-dum. Okay. Maybe we can draw one of our own out of his deck, right? that's the way to go about it. Nopeify. You would have been beautiful 15 seconds ago. How close are we to the flip? Not really. Not really. So this got real gross real fast. You gotta just come out here and block this stuff. We haven't picked up any interactivity to deal with Zed. Just real pain in the butt. Glimpse Beyond is a useful draw in the face of this Darkwater Scourge. Let us throw a unit in front of it and then Glimpse Beyond it away. Probably just have to give up on it at this point and say, like, well, we're going to win the game with Sejuani. That's tough. Alright, let's try and get this dumb stuff out of here. Let's get it out of here. It's amazing we still get to deal damage this turn. Seeing him take an actual neg 3 on the round is pretty incredible. So we'll let that one happen. I want that unit off of the board. His board is a little scary as we come into the next turn as well, so I don't want that just hanging out. Now we're going to overbank a ton. It's just... I don't really want to get Gangplank involved on this board. I thought about snapping off the Nopeify, but I don't think this game's going to come down to card advantage. It's going to come down to having a good spell at the right time. And like ideally we'll be able to win this on our next attack. If we do manage to pick up like a Sejuani, it gives us a little bit of time, but the things we're looking to do here are deal 1 damage to opponent on this next turn. That's going to flip our Gangplank, and then open attack with Gangplank next turn. Really need that sequence to happen. Okay. He's only got 1 mana, so we might be able to play Gangplank and threaten his Zed. Now, Zed can come in and just hook the Powder Keg out of combat, but I'd like to see if we can't do something to scare him a little bit here. Gonna have a big full board attack this round. Oh, he doesn't hook the keg. Interesting. Alright, so that takes us to 2. Alright, that's as good as we're getting. Gotta draw a way to deal a point of damage here, though. Like, it might even be questionable at this point with the Hecarim on the board. But, gotta find something. Alright, we got a parlay. So we got 2 to the face there. There's the Gangplank flip. We're going to get this monkey business on board. That'll take him to 6. We'll get a fresh monkey next turn. And then if he's blocking Gangplank with Hecarim, we should have the lethal from our other units. And so this is the space where I'm kind of counting on our Nopify, right? Whatever dumb card he has, give us the potential to come through here. Now a little bit more potential with the Powder Pandemonium if this attack goes completely wrong. If he doesn't have a way to deal damage to face. Sure. It's the way it is today. Felt like we navigated that perfectly and just have it go to doo-doo like that. Whatever. Alright. Next battle. Brutal. Okay, though. And so, another one of these lineups. I don't remember if this was the guy that we played earlier, but we'll ban out the Jinx Draven, leave up both of the control decks, and then if we have to play Aurelion Sol, you know what's up. I'm on board with it. And so he bans that one out. Too bad, man. Too bad. So we'll take in Gangplank Sejuani. I don't like playing sea monsters against these decks when we don't play Atrocity and when we don't play the expensive units. Alright, so what kind of start do we have here? And so I think we get rid of Make It Rain Sejuani. I'd like to get this Taskmaster online early, but not mulligan completely everything away. And so finding a 1-drop here would be huge. Good job, Jagged Butcher. Alright, and it begins. It probably won't do too much on this turn. This is an okay bank. And we'll see if we can't start getting the remainder of our friends online and active after this one. Just passing? I don't really approve of that, bro. Do not approve. Alright, things are happening. Things are beginning. Next round. Sejuani turns up. Gotta get this point of damage in. We could wait till the end of the turn, but I want to try and attack with both the Taskmaster and the Black Market Merchant. And if you can get your opponent to play Twisted Fates before the Powder Pandemonium comes down, it's absolutely huge, right? They don't have a ton of ways to really stop this thing.
Looks like trouble.
Sure. Alright, so the downside of the way we sequence this is we don't have that Powder Monkey coming back for this round. And so it would have been nice to have that extra attacker out here, but he wasn't ready. He said, "Bust, I'm not ready. I can't do it." I say, "It's not your fault, man." It's not your fault. I don't blame you. And so there is some argument here to not attack with the Jagged Butcher into the Twisted Fate, because this opens up opponent for just playing more Twisted Fates on the future turns. But I want to get that 1 point of damage in. We're almost to the flipped Sejuani, and she's pretty important in terms of Swain. So keeping Swain from dealing damage to your face.
Victory awaits. Glory, courage, excuses for war.
You own what you take.
So she should be safe for the round. It's pretty tough for him to deal a damage and have another card. So looks like he might be putting some kind of preemptive damage onto Sejuani, but I don't think we have to worry about her actually dying this turn. And so with this, I want to play the slow spell and get it out of our hand. There's not a ton of cards that we can actually use to...
Safety will cost you.
not a ton of cards we can use to get the Sejuani on board like really fast. So that seems safe. She's going to get stunned now, which is not ideal, but not the end of the world. Let's see if he's got another Twisted Fate. As long as our Sejuani's alive, I feel kind of okay, since we can go into the next turn and potentially make it rain, or if things go well now, we can just warning shot and get the stun. And so, opponent here wants to just play the Leviathan. We can kind of take that away from him. All right. All right. Real close. All right, so we're getting these damages in. Now if he wants to attack next turn, we can still warning shot and frostbite his team. Give us just a little bit more time.
The winter's claw endures.
She is going to start getting perma-stunned now, though. Sad day for Sejuani. Oh, he's Gangplank, though. He's ready to party. Everybody's here. Everybody here is ready to party. Look out. Scorched Earth. Sad.
Well fought. Packed him good.
Wonder if we should have played Gangplank first. It's like I'm curious if there's ever a combat trick that comes out of the that comes out of the opposing deck and lets him attack with Swain for just the big fuck you. But what I'm leaning towards here with this one is he's going to hook in our powder keg. That's okay. We're going to warning shot him for 3, and then we have the powder pandemonium in hand for another 3 damage. So it shouldn't matter that our Gangplank is about to get stunned by the Leviathan Swain combo, because we got the 3 damage in hand. This isn't a deck that typically plays heal. I don't think there's even any heal in these factions. I guess you can play Aatrox or something. Get them monkeys. Says, uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's like 3 damage into 3 health. That maths up to 0. I don't know if you did the mathematics on that one, but it does end up at 0. Give me some of them salty oranges. That's what we need. Whew, I thought I just saw something on my screen. I had a real conundrum at work the other day. And so I had up an Excel spreadsheet, and I couldn't figure out why a number kept showing up as negative. It was a thing where things should just be positive the entire time. And I kept looking at it, and I was going back and forth and doing a lot of mathematics to see what it should be and what it shouldn't. Everyone knows that's a terrible day when Bust is doing mathematics. But I eventually got to kind of like looking at it from a different angle, and it was dirt. I just had dirt on my screen, and so I thought I saw like a little something on my screen just now, and it reminded me of that. And so it was brutal. It was painful, man. I must have spent at least like 15 minutes trying to figure out why I had the negative in my Excel spreadsheet. It's just a piece of dirt. But all right, up against the Donger. Not entirely certain of what to expect against the Donger, but as we're looking at Jinx Draven and we're looking at Heimerdinger, it should involve quite a bit of just 1 health units, and so I felt pretty reasonable here. Again, like deep, depending on how you formulate your deck, could be reasonable against Heimerdinger, right? But we're not playing those expensive cards. I really want to just be coming out here with Gangplank Sejuani, since we don't know what deck he's going to pick. All right, good start. Good start. All right, so here comes the real question turn. I didn't want to get too aggressive with what we're putting out, but it's like if we make this attack and he has the removal for it, it kind of sucks. But I don't want to be playing Make It Rains into no board. And so if we can get away with like playing 2 or 3 cards this turn, that's fine. Just a lot of this game kind of hinges on this attack working, and your opponent having 6 mana in the face of the unit probably means it's going to die. This isn't Heimerdinger Jason, the current land of Constructed, to where they bank 6 mana into turn 3 and then play a 6 mana production surge, right? That's not happening here right now, and so unfortunate day for Shell Shocker. And now see, it's where it's kind of a bummer because we missed out on some attacks. But get to spend some mana now.
The weak don't deserve mercy.
Gonna play the monkey business. I'd like to get the nation. Let's hold it back. It's like if we wait, with like the makeup of our cheap spells, Zap hits a damage-based spell for every card that isn't Monkey Business, right? We have Warning Shot, Parlay, Make It Rain, and then Monkey Business. And so I think if we wait this turn, then we can play Zap, and then potentially pick up a Parlay, and Make It Rain, whatever, play it, and then still follow up with the Monkey Business. I guess Make It Rain doesn't work, but we had 6 cards we could work with between the Parlay and the Warning Shots, and then 4 cards that didn't work between Make It Rain and Monkey Business. You gotta do something. MDM Mystics with an I. No Ys. Eyes only for the Mystics today. Just thinking hard on it. Interesting. Just some kind of weird hand. Alright, well give me the plunders, please. I'm ready to get our powder pandemonium going. Yordle Grifter. Okay, you'll be useful next turn. So with this, we're going to get a guaranteed hit to the face, right? Regardless of whatever removal spells he plays, we're going to get at least 1 damage because we played the the monkey. So that's pretty good. Now we're hopefully getting to the point to where we could just kill him with Powder Pandemonium. We're going to be up to 4 plunders after this one. So we'll do whatever we can here. If we can get it up to 6, then we have the 6 monkeys plus 2 from Mystic Shot to get to 8. Otherwise, we can get it with 5 and Yordle Grifter. This isn't a deck to where I really want to be like counting on exact damage. This isn't like the previous game against Swain to where they just don't have heal. This deck probably has like Vile Feasts in it and the like. Interesting with the Brood Awakening. I'm going to go for Zap. It's just Make It Rain is so good here. And he did just add a Floor Begone, and so give us a blocker for that as well. But happy enough with this.
I have a new method to evaluate.
Sending in the donger. Interesting.
Can't win 'em all, eh?
So we're definitely getting in front of those. Only 4 plunders for the Pandemonium, though. This is where it's gonna get kinda sketchy. If we want to, Mystic Shot Heimerdinger, that's damage that could have been going to face, which is no longer going to be doing so, but we'll give it a shot. And he still has a ton of blockers out here, so we're not gonna be getting face damage in with these monkeys. Let's see what happens. Jagged Butcher.
Safety will cost you.
Well, didn't pick up anything super interesting there. It's worth a shot. But I don't think we're ever going to clear out this board, and so let's just go ahead and send the monkeys in. If he has a Withering Whale, that's a real bummer. But if we get to clear his board and deal 4 damage on the round, that feels like a win. If he had Withering Whale, he would have just snapped it off, right? Right. That's where you say you're right, Bust. You're always right. Your rightness is astounding. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Why would you take so long to play Withering Whale? Okay. So he's got the heal out of it. Oh no, and his dum-dum Florbegon doesn't have... that's lame. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, he's being greedy today. He's not near lethal with this board. That's strange. Alright, we'll try and take down the Donger real quick. Just gotta find something, we got a little bit of potential for damages here, but you just need another Powder Pandemonium where I don't think he's played a Vengeance yet at this point. Like Gangplank would be nice, of course, but he hasn't played Vengeances at this point. Any of our big champions are probably just gonna die. Alright, roll the dice, fam. What did we hit? Well, we hit the Florbegon, which is important. I think we just hit perfect, actually. LOL. No, we hit the Donger for 1. Okay. But still, at the end of the day, I think hitting the Florbegon and the 5-1 quick attacker, you'll call that a win. He does still have the elusive bro in hand, but he should be short of lethal. Right? Right. Alright, not looking good. Not looking good. Alright. GG. Ooh, it's tough. Again, I don't think our champions would have survived that game, but not drawing the champions is a disaster with this deck every time. So important to actually draw. All right, on to the next one. This looks like a Aurelian Soul lineup if I've ever seen one. If we get to jump into this battle against either Tom Kinch or the Zoe deck with Aurelian Soul, just going to feel super, super good about it. Nope. All right, so we'll have to take deep end. I don't want to play Gangplank Sejuani up against the heal deck. It's just way too awkward. You never get to deal any damage. It's just way too good against what we're doing. So not... super ideal. We aren't really particularly tuned to be going up against this, but the matchup isn't unwinnable. Gets reasonable enough start. I don't think we want Thorny Toads in this match, but the Deadbloom Wanderer should be okay. Just want to turbo into deep as fast as we can. They don't have a lot of proactive measures. That's why the Aurelion Soul is so good against this deck.
It's a big responsibility to
Coming at us. Sending them 0-3s right to the dome. And so we're never attacking into this. It's like if we attack with the Deadbloom Wanderer, he blocks and has some rando combat trick. It's just everything is going completely wrong for us at that point. And so we'll just pass. Keep on waiting. He really needs like a Fortune Croaker.
be at peace. Let's go, Osu. Round 'em up.
All right, 1 point of damage right to the face, right to the nugget. Oh, he's got a card. That's too bad. All right, doesn't look like we can kill the Soraka. So let's do this. Let's lead with the Salvage. I was looking to play both Salvage and Deadbloom Wanderer this turn, but there's probably not a lot of reason to actually add the Wanderer. He's never attacking, right? Okay. We're at 25 cards right now.
Much trouble, Hakan?
Nothing I can't handle. Oh dear, come back!
It's tough with the Abyssal Eye. Like, I don't want it to die. All right, he's fallen below Hush mana. We we did the Hush mathematics in the last game, but there's no Targon's Peaks on the board now, so we shouldn't have to worry about our Abyssal Eye getting blown up. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and Vile Feast our bro, get this additional unit on the board. Tom ate him. That's fine. We should be deep before these other big units get on board. We're at 23. Go to 22 with the current card draw. We have Jettison to get us down to 18. So we should be really close to getting that big damage in. Now this is interesting. It's like depending on how much mana he wants to spend, we can get kinda nasty with this Devourer of the Depths. Taking 8. And he's got 6 mana. It's probably too much to put in the Devourer of the Depths. I think we want to hit deep, and then we can look to play it next turn. Let's just get a bunch of dudes on board so that we can actually block next round.
Compassion is never wasted.
The possibilities are infinite.
That flip on Soraka.
What's that noise?
Alright, let's see if he feasts upon us. You say, I got the Jettison. You ready for the Jettison? He says, Bust, I can tell you up to shenanigans, bro. I can tell. I can tell. I'm not taking the bait.
Excuse me. Let us peruse this establishment.
There we go. Now we just find a Vengeance. Another easy way to go about it. I don't... It's tough. Like with this deck, they sometimes play Bastion, which is a problem given what we're trying to do between the Devourer of the Depths and the Jettisons and everything. Ooh, do we ever just pass here? That's kind of a juicy pass. It's probably too scary. I'm too scared, guys. I'm too scared. Does have the Bastion. Well, Not a lot we can do about it. Oh my gosh, is he gonna have it all? Is he gonna have it all? He just needs one heal card at this point to get out of the... He's gonna have it all, I can already tell. It's just too easy here to have like a Targon shield or have a heal 2 draw. But, I mean, if this pops off, like, I will be floored. If, like, the way that he played it so slow on the previous turn to not target the beast below, when he had the 2 mana up then, and to now, like, go into the beast below, and, like, I don't know what would have changed. Oh, wow. Wow. Interesting. Interesting, bruh. Well, I'm bringing the thunder now. Definitely happy to trade a beast below with either of these Star Shepherds. I was gonna say, I'll say he'll probably just put up a normal block, but... Wow. He was counting on the Pale Cascade to be the card, I guess. Okay, fam. Sometimes the turns will table. So we shouldn't have to worry about the like overwhelms, right? We saw the previous Tom Kench bro playing what do you call the Zenith Blade? Zenith Blade's a slow spell, so we don't have to worry about it coming in the middle of combat. But I don't see how if this is his play, hooking our Abyssal Eyes into these units and getting the kills. Like, I don't see how he ever wins the game after this point. This just feels like a humongous win for us. Had to stop and check and see how much Nautilus cheapened up our units. I want to play a Devourer of the Depths onto Soraka, but he's not quite enough. But I think this is still okay. We can just throw everything down next turn. I mean, as it stands, like if we just eat the Spring Guardian, he can't block our Nautilus. I don't really want to count on that kind of play, because again, this deck does play Hush, and so if like we go all in on Nautilus and he hushes it, then we've got an issue on our hands. But maybe that is the way to go. We have enough removal to just throw at this thing, and we can still come back with the second Devourer and throw it at Soraka if we need to. Let's take him down. Fearsome Nautilus ready to do his thing. Look at them sea monsters, yo. Nice. Woo! Market a W for bust. Nice victory for Team Bust. GG, feels good. Feels nice. Feels wonderful. Woof. And all right, back to the lands of the triple aggro lineups. They've been really struggling with these ephemerals today. It's like, I'm not certain. It's like, in the back of my head, I know that Pirates is probably just the best deck, but it feels like we've been losing to ephemerals over and over and over again. And so I'm just going to cut out the Zed. Like, is recency bias the right word for what's happening here, as to where we're making a bad decision based on what has happened recently and not based on the full picture of the datas? I think that's what just happened, but we'll give it a shot. I mean, in And constructed, I keep calling it constructed, and like ladder-based constructed play with all the sets. Like the Powder Pandemonium deck has traditionally been pretty decent against pirates. It carried a positive win rate there a few seasons ago, and so I don't think I'm too upset about running up against it. The spiders deck does feel to be the more scary of the two. I assume that this is spiders. It's odd seeing Callisto with the spiders instead of Elise, or instead of Darius, I should say. But what do I know, yo? What do I know? Says, oh no, these premium shell shockers coming at me. Look at them little turtles. Look at them turtles. They don't talk real good English, but don't even talk it. They write that way. Note scribbled in sand. Interesting. It's where I scribble all my notes. You know, it's time, the impermanence of time and everything gets washed away by the sand and stuff. It's where I leave my best work. All right, shell shocker number 2. I suspect opponent's not going to play any units this turn, but we don't need to be completely all in with our gangplanks here. It's so weird. We've just been doing a poor job of drawing them. Maybe we need to include another a Babbling Bjerg and just be okay with 4 Freylord cards instead of just 3. Thinking hard on this one. You got a Vile Feast for us? Again, he's got Callista in here. I assume that it's spiders and he played a Precious Pet. Like, everything points to this just being spiders, but this is definitely not an aggressive draw coming out of them. And then we have to do something with our mana this turn. We can't just pass on this round without losing it. I mean, if he puts something on the board and we get to make it rain, I think that'll feel positive. I mean, I guess it's not the end of the world, but very awkward hand that we have. Arachnoid Horror. Okay. This just feels like a waste. I don't like this at all. I kind of want to take back. But it at least does set us up for a parlay next turn, and then if we draw like a black market merchant or something, even a monkey business to help get these plunders rolling. So it's a start.
I don't fight.
Okay. Kind of painful. I want our make it rain. Well, I guess if we didn't have the make it rain, then we wouldn't be able to deal with the Elise here. All right. Ugh. Gotta draw something good. So that gets us up to... Why is it only on 2? Did we really... Oh god, we didn't play our zap? Ugh, that is not ideal. We didn't play anything we could play here, but this game is just going bad. This would be so much better of an open attack, though, if we could have done that. Not happy with anything here. The way we've played, poor. The draw, poor. Opponent's deck knows what the fuck they're doing. Seems like they're playing spiders, but they aren't doing much spider stuff.
It will all be over soon.
Alright, something, anything. Some kind of value card. Cannot be drawn with stuff like Warning Shot next turn. It just doesn't work. Gotta draw a card that costs 3 mana or more. Okay? I'll accept a black market merchant, but 3 mana or more is our kind of price point we got to be hitting here. Yordle Grifter, you're perfect. You're perfect, friend. Gotten our 1 plunder this game. Brutal. Making that big decision. Just pick the big one, bro. Pick the big one. All right? Pick the one that says spider on it. There's some, like, I'm curious if you start to run across things like Fearsome Dog, and you have to decide if you want a Fearsome Dog or go for a bigger value-oriented play. It's like Fearsome Dog is a very scary kind of thing against a deck like ours, since we have so much access to 1 damage removals. But the decision has been made. Good job. It's got 3 mana back. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a Frenzied Skitterer come down. Oh, it is the dog, but... Huh. Interesting. I'm going to go ahead and drop the Make It Rain now. I'm going to see what we hit. You know, we got... I know the math doesn't work out to having like exactly a 60% chance to hit the Stygian Onlooker, but it's pretty close. And then if we hit any of these other units, it feels like when he's getting ready to add this Stygian Onlooker that he's kind of interested in just adding another card afterwards. And so we should get a chance to parlay, even if we miss on a part of this. Mark of the Isles. Okay. So that's a fearsome one as well. We probably just have to go for the damage prevent here, right? He can't play any more cards. As it stands, we have to put the Yordle Grifter in front of the Onlooker. Then we're looking to take 8 damage. We'll block the little spider from Elise. I think we're kind of stuck. It sucks to lose out on the value. Maybe we... It's just 1 more point of damage, right? What has 1 point of damage ever meant in any game ever? So let's actually take down the spider. Get it off board. We'll take the 1 more damage from the Onlooker. We'll put the Yordle Grifter in front of his 6 and then sacrifice it to Glimpse Beyond. And then we can block the only non-fearsome unit with Zap.
You can't do this.
Taking 9, falling to 9. Okay. Still doesn't feel like a very good spot, you know. Opponent has 5 cards in hand. They're still going to have their Elise. We finally pick up a champion. We're going to drop this Gangplank, and he's just going to say, LOL, it's vengeance. And then we've messed up our spells a little bit. I mean, we have to just Warning Shot Gangplank. We're not doing anything else otherwise. But... I think the opposing deck isn't one that typically plays Vengeance, but I mean it feels like one that I wouldn't be surprised to see it come out of. It's just been very like playing both. I don't know how you have space for it at that point, right? If you're playing both Stalking Shadows and Glimpse from Beyond, you're probably also playing Vile Feast and all the early game bros. So, But we're short of lethal on board. We only got 10 damage here. We gotta pivot back to hoping for a 1 damage spell. We've tried so hard to dodge them up to this point. Now you got to start hoping for the damage. I mean, I have trouble imagining that he's actually going to play a unit here. There's just not a lot of dudes. I guess he could have Callista in hand, right? Callista is a unit that could come in and prevent a bunch of damage here. But, like, you're never adding a 2 health or smaller unit to the board, and that's the vast majority of what this deck is. And so it had to have basically been Callista or bust on whatever he was thinking here. Mark of the Isles. Okay. So we come in for 6. I'm not amped about dropping the Dreadway next turn, but you know, we got it. I mean, it's here. Maybe that'll be the play. I was trying to think. He should have. Well, I think we've seen all of his Stalking Shadows cards, right? He played the 2 Fearsome Dogs on the previous turn. We've seen the 2. Yeah, he's just playing Decimates? Harrowing. Ugh. Oh, this is about to get real dumb. So we gotta see where the Make It Rains fall. We can block here. We can block here. All these middle bros are fearsome. Now we just need a good Make It Rain. It's probably not even enough to win us the game, but it's enough to make us not die here, which is a bonus, a perk. Not dying is positive, you know. He's played 2 Mark of the Isles this game, so having a 3rd combat trick's probably tough to do. Okay. And so now this is just an open attack with the Dreadway, right? We don't have time to play Gangplank. If we play Gangplank and he has a burn spell, like, he shouldn't be able to play burn spells in the face of the Dreadway. Now, still okay. He can't Nox and Fervor us down. Alright, here it comes. 8 damage to the face nugget. Squeeze him. Your butt cheeks. Real tight. Clench him. GG. Played like a master. Learn how to make it rain from the best of them. Alright, good stuff. GG's, my dude. Oh, I thought we were on to the final battle. We got a ways to go. God, you gotta be here for like 2 hours today. Strap on in. Alright, next one. Man, this is like those days of Expedition and playing 13 games in a trial. See if we can't keep it going, keep it rolling on. I'm curious to see what Riot's going to do with tournaments. They say they're bringing tournaments to the game. I'm curious what like the preferred length of tournament is, right? It's like if you look towards something like Magic, at least on Magic Online, the ugly one, you would get like a 5-round league. That was the kind of standard tournament until you moved into the bigger things of playing like 7 rounds of Swiss to top 8 or whatever. And it lasted a like 2 or 3 hours. You're playing best of 3 5 times, and so get to bring in Zoe. I'm just curious what the kind of time space that Riot expects a good tournament to be. All right, though, at any rate, on to the battles, playing against what should be Feel the Rush with Ionia. We are playing our ultra greedy deck here. I'm not super upset if opponent comes in and pops our Feel the Rushes with denies, since we should hopefully be able to just get ahead of them. And then we also have all of our Targon-based Invoke cards. And so hopefully that's enough to just kind of hard carry us through this matchup. Our greed be stronger than access to deny. All right, everybody's ramping though. It's the popular thing to do these days. So how do we want to do this turn, right? If we play the Cattles of the Old Ones, tap out, then we can't play the Voices of the Old Ones next turn. I'd like to play Voices of the Old Ones next turn, and so, like, we could add Zoe. I think she's okay. And then next turn we're just going to play the big Voices. So we at least don't completely run out of mana this way. All right, the coolest of star charts. I wonder if we should have played the Voices of the Old Ones first, because now that we're talking about it, this is going to be the time where we draw like 4 cards off of it, and then we overdraw a little bit. And so, scratch that. Wrong. Incorrect. This is the time we draw 0 cards off of it. That's a bummer. Ugh. Gross. Okay, don't have to worry about atrocities here, so I'm going to continue on the theme of just being ultra greedy. We can drop in the Targon's Peak this round as well, and then next turn we should have enough mana to both like She Who Wanders and Mind Splitter or something nasty like that. Seeing the Howling Abyss come in is a little bit scary, right? This is an opposing deck that does have a lot of just expensive shit in it, and so things can most certainly go wrong here, but let's see if we can't take the advantage with the She Who Wanders. You can deny the Bale Site, but if he doesn't have a deny for this thing, then we get to smoke the Trundle and hopefully clear out. The big thing here would also be clearing out all of his ramp, but he stops us there, okay. Still got our Infinite Mind Splitter as well, and so if he starts playing some nasty champions, we can hopefully get the shutdown on those. So this attack with She Who Wanders does not feel good, but I mean we gotta get these sentries out of here, and I think having him draw cards isn't the worst. No, as we're rolling around with Targon's Peak.
Bring me the calm of an ice-shrouded world.
Alright, now we just gotta draw some more big stuff. This is not feeling like the greatest of spots, as the opponent is generating the level 2 champions, and we don't have any of our big cards in hand. But some things to note. We do have Zoe. The opponent doesn't seem to have a lot of ways to interact with her. So we do have some potential to just actually flip Zoe this game. But, if we get to flip Zoe and do the big damage spread, whatever that ability is called, we got some opportunities for power. Unfortunately here, our Aurelian Soul is not going to be flipped. Taking the Targon's Peak off the table. It's just going to be too good for opponent at this point, right? He can have one more card here, but if he's adding level 2 champions to his hand over and over and over again, I do not want him to have access to the Peak, and so we'll just get rid of it, you know? Make a mental note that it would be kind of cool if we had Howling Abyss in our deck as well. It's like, I just don't think we should need it, right? Between the Invoke cards, like I could definitely see adding in another Behold the Infinite and kind of having that be a way to get expensive stuff, but whew, it's interesting. Sends back the Infinite Mind Splitter. Okay, interesting. So I'm curious why. Is he doing it to push? No, that doesn't push anything. Maybe he's just afraid of Aurelian Soul flipping. It's a round end ability, right? So the She Who Wanders isn't gonna like magically recover and then flip him at the beginning of the turn.
Winter is the Freljord's true ruler.
Okay.
Bring me the calm of an ice-shrouded world.
That's interesting. Interesting. Lots of Rhyme Tusk Shamans.
Send chills up my spine.
So if we're looking at this, our Zoe is at 6 spells. We can play a star chart and try and get up to 2. I don't feel like I'm excited about that. I mean, we could technically flip the Zoe with these cards here to the left, the Tavern Keeper, the Catalyst, and the star chart, but I don't think that's quite where I want to be. We should probably be playing new cards, though. So let's add in the Great Beyond. Does have Spell Shield, which is nice. He's going to start falling after next turn. But I think this flip on the Zoe is going to be our path to victory here. We don't have a great way to deal with these Rhyme Tusk Shamans. So, I mean, I guess we can just keep adding big dudes to the board and hope that we can power through this, but it's tough. Oh, she doesn't do anything though, right? It's when she levels up that she puts that good ability on the board. Now, something fresh with our star charts here. How do we feel about like star charting and then looking for a equinox? We can't do it this turn, so we should probably just pass. But I think that's an interesting option coming out of the just a way to try and stop these dum-dums from the Rhymetusk Shamans from doing their thing.
They'll pay attention. The wicked, one snack'll do.
Okay. So easily we could make a block and start to get rid of these things. We don't need these anymore. Take 2. Doesn't seem like a lot. Doesn't seem like a lot. Ooh, Zoe did put that Behold the Infinite in hand. I forgot about that ability. Alright, so there is the Equinox. So we want to play a different card now, right? If we want to get this Zoe to flip. Let's lead with the Equinox. We can always just burst out the Catalyst to the Aeons if we need to, and that'll get us a Zoe flip. But I don't want to play Catalyst to the Aeons this turn, right? It's not a very powerful card. What up, Kitty? Got a kitty turning up. Y'all haven't seen her yet today, right? Say what up, Pepper. Enjoy your time on the internet as the opponent beholds the infinite. She's delightful. I don't know how much time people spend looking at my pretty face up here on the chat, the video thing, but we have this like kitty tree back here, and I notice they turn up there on occasion. Happy little kitties get to make an appearance. You like being on the internet, don't you, friend? Alright, cool. So we got the Zoe flip. That's big. Everybody does get elusive as we add in the Immortal Fire, whatever this one is. So, not much potential for blocking on the opponent next turn. He is going to shrink. It looks like it should be She Who Wanders and Aurelion Soul. So, not quite going to be lethal, especially with him having a Zoe to block with, but you know, it feels like we're making more progress than the opponent's making. This Aurelion Soul flip one day. Tasty Fey Folk. And another Immortal Fire. Does that ever get us the potential for lethal? Say we kill off his Zoe. We've got like 8, 8, 16. We're close. I just wonder, though, if it's not more important to be going for these Mind Splitters. I guess, like, the opponent's board's not that scary. And going for a Sunburst play onto Zoe lets us still play this Harsh Winds if we need to, right? He does get the rallies because he's playing... Because he has this level 2 Garen on the board. How wrong could it go, right? How wrong could the blocks go? Okay. So we're only coming in for 11. Getting close, though. We're getting close to that that game-ending space. His attack was not good. I think that's safe to say. Alright, then the Charger gets us to the Aurelion Soul flip, while also giving everybody overwhelm. So, ooh, maybe. Maybe. I don't know, fam. This has been a real grind fest, but it feels like we've had the edge here for a while. We'll see how opponent comes in and snatches victory from the hands of defeat or whatever, but seems like we're okay. Now they'll pay attention. Blocking. Just blocking everything, man. 0% chance we don't block this stuff. We just gotta not die. Okay. She Who Wanders can come in. The Immortal Fire, if it dies, should come right back. I think this is all okay. Okay. Feels like we're really turning the corner here now. Get the Sunburst onto the Rhymetusk Shaman. We have an additional Meteor Shower for the other Rhymetusk Shaman. Get some of these elusives on the board. You know what, fam? I think we're good to go.
Welcome to the tipsy hour.
There we have it. GG. Market a W for bust. I knew we could do it. I knew we could had it. We had it in us. With the greed fest coming through. That's scary though. He had that Howling Abyss on board for like 6 turns and still didn't come up with something for the victory. That's a rough beat. But nonetheless, final battle for us. All right, final battle. So man, I hope y'all are getting to watch us achieve victory here and then go turn on the old footballs. This is interesting. Let's actually, before we start talking about football, let's ban out the Aurelian Soul, right? If we get to bring our Aurelian Soul, I don't want that deck up, and then I'm more than happy to play our ramp deck into either of those. It looks like he picked up the Leona deck here for the last round. But if you keep track of the old footballs, it's an exciting day. It's playoff time. Top Cut is here. Nobody calls it Top Cut in the land of in the land of football. I think that one's kind of interesting to me. In the sense that that's like a new word. It was always like a top 8 growing up as someone that played Magic, but hearing the term Top Cut, that was new. I kind of like it. I'm not sold on it, but it makes sense if there's a cut, the top 4, top 16, just to call it the Top Cut. So I get you. But anyways, it was the Chiefs, everyone's favorite team. They got a bye this week. They don't have to play. But my other 2 teams of choice. Actually, all of my teams of choice made the playoffs this year, and so the ones I like to follow and keep track of, there's the Chiefs. My best friend back in West Virginia, he's a 49ers fan, so I love to cheer against them. And then when I was growing up, I was a Buffalo Bills fan. It was a horrible time to be a Bills fan, but they were really good on the game Tecmo Super Bowl, and that is where I started to become a Bills fan. And then once that game was released, they just became dog shit. So I just liked a terrible team for years. Moved to Kansas City. That's when I became a Chiefs fan. But then, last but not least, is I like to follow Tom Brady these days. Tom Brady is a professional memer in the lands of Twitter, and he's been unleashed a few years ago. He plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers now, and their offensive coordinator played football at Marshall, and so we're a big fan of all their work as well. So everybody made it. Feels good when all your teams are in there. You get to enjoy the games. I'm excited. Let's see what's happening here. Kind of sucked to lose our unit there. Not the end of the world. Not the biggest of deals. I kind of feel like we should have just passed here. Because now if he drops in a Leona, it kind of sucks, right? We were in a spot to where I think we should have just passed and then played the Golden Sisters next turn. But it's too late, is what it is. We can at least prevent a bunch of damage off this round. I mean, I feel like it's tough. I feel like we could just realistically just take it. It's not that much damage, especially if he hooks in with Leona. But it's probably too greedy to not start spending this at some point. I feel like we can do this. We can play the Golden Sister next turn. Then on turn 7, that'll be opponent's next attack. We can hopefully say Harsh Winds, Leona, and Ravoon. And then as it comes back to our next turn, we can look to add in the Infinite Mind Splitter and hopefully get the big shutdowns. The downside to this kind of angle is it looks like we're going to be a little bit short of Feel the Rush on 9 mana. And so we may end up looking to skip something like the Infinite Mind Splitter, but otherwise it looks like this stuff's coming together as we want. He landed the good stun, he got the coin flip here. Is what it is. Not anything we can do about that. So maybe we do just actually go for Feel the Rush next turn. Right, we'll see how much damage he brings in. But, I mean, if we're not going to get lethaled, we get to, say, drop Faces of the Old Ones this turn and then try and Feel the Rush next turn. The downside to going for that is if opponent has a deny, right? He is playing Ionia in the mix here along with his Yasuo. And so if he does pull off a deny, we are just, like, super far behind. So maybe we do have to go for... maybe we do have to go for just the Infinite Mind Splitter next turn. But coming in like this, only taking a single point of damage looks good. Not too worried about losing the Silver Sister. She's not doing a ton here if we're going to be real. And then, yeah, add in the Infinite Mind Splitter. I think that's good. Like, it shouldn't be a deck that has a ton of ways to deal with this dum-dum, right? I mean, I guess it could. Like, if he's playing recalls and stuff, you can get the Will of Ionias in on it, but... Stuff like Sunburst. He's going to double Sunburst? That seems nice. Alright, passing. Or did he do that just for the stun? Seems like he has to have another one here. Alright. Well, that was a positive turn. We're definitely getting both of the stuns next round. Cool. I dig it. He only gets to use his little friends as far as this combat is concerned. We got the Sunbursts. If he plays Yasuo, he could be kind of scary at the moment, but I dig it. Maybe he'll just pass again. Can you do that for us? Can you just bring out a pass? Nope. Alright, this looks like he's probably got like a Pale Cascade or something. This is a very suspicious attack, but... Oh my goodness, we are getting so far ahead with these. Well, we can just keep on passing. I think that's fine. He's got to add something here. Like, you can't just keep passing against the Aurelian Soul deck, right? It's gonna catch up with you. Why is this only targeting the Mind Splitter? Deal 4 to an enemy and 1 to another, but it's only hitting the Mind Splitter? That's weird. Alright, well. A nice 8 mana do nothing. That was cool. I guess we at least have the mana gems, but, you know, we're already at 10. So that's kind of a bummer. Let's see what Feel the Rush can do. It's like, I wonder if we can get him to spend more cards before we play the Feel the Rush, right? Ideally, like, the thing that's at least nice for us next turns, we have the 13 mana. So we can play Zoe and we can play Feel the Rush. And so if things go, like, completely wrong here, you know, we at least still have some units on the board and shouldn't be getting lethaled. But it's also tough for him to just spend, like, 9 mana. So I'm not ultra confident in this Feel the Rush, but let's see. Let's see what happens.
I will follow this path until the end. Slave is for the guiltless.
This just never is successful, right? How many times is this successful? Like, right around never. Am I right or am I wrong? Ooh. Ooh, feels good to be wrong. Ooh. That's the sauce right there. What you gonna do now, Fabio? Do y'all remember when that was big news? Were you alive for Fabio? He was a male model, a supermodel of some sort, if you will, and he was on a roller coaster, and he got hit by a bird. And so that's his life story. That's what he's kind of known for these days. Is he got hit by a bird, and they made fun of him and laughed at him and everything. But that's all I can think of now whenever I hear that name. That was like the edge of my childhood. But I feel like he was on like Friends. I think he made his way in there. I don't know. Do your thing, dude. Make your money and stuff. All right, so this was a pretty sweet round, though. Let's stop talking about Fabio. It's probably not the supermodel that we're playing against, but it'd be sweet if it was. But as this round goes, we hit the moon silver off of our Aurelian Soul. Not ideal. I'll go ahead and be real with you. That's not what you're looking to do. And so, a little bit of sadness there. Let's come in and try and take down the Yasuo. If he didn't have the deny for the Feel the Rush, I doubt that he has the deny for the Sunburst. And then it should be a pretty bad set of attacks for him at this point forward. Okay. Oh, he's going to kill our Aurelian Soul, isn't he? Oh, Leona's one short. Okay. Get us another blocker out there. Interesting. I mean, he doesn't have any mana at this point. I'm not sure what trying to take down Aurelian Soul actually gains you. And so I would like to put some damage on Ravoon. This has been kind of annoying, is how much damage he's coming in and dealing to our dudes, or with all these sunburst effects that he's getting, but maybe it's just not worth. I don't know. It seems like we're in a pretty good spot. We got the Aurelian Soul is still flipped. He's only silenced for the round, so he's going to get to do his thing next turn. We got the mana for a second Feel the Rush if Aurelian Soul doesn't miss like a dum-dum, and then we can do something with that. But he missed. I shouldn't call you a dum-dum, Aurelian Soul. That's not very nice, but I had such bigger hopes and dreams for you. You got a stun.
The sun's splendor reveals.
Let's give that one a go. Has he got to deny now? Nope. Nope. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. So the thing I've been kind of like lingering in the back of my head here before we actually pulled it off is with this Moon Silver and the Sunburst, we kind of don't want to find ourselves in a spot where we go into the next turn and then play the Moon Silver and then play the Sunburst afterwards without the silence attached to it. I forget that Sunburst deals 6 damage as well. Probably should have read it. This got upgraded at some point, right? I'm pretty confident it got updated at some point, but does 6. I gotta remember that. Y'all probably just been sitting here the whole time being like, dum-dum, Sunburst does 6 damage. Just play it. But I've had it stuck in my head that it only deals 5. So we probably could just come in and kill Leona and be like, look what I did there. Not that bad. All right, we'll look to do that on the upcoming turn. He's gonna get a double stun here. I don't think he's gonna lethal us, but I'm a little scared. We could have made life a lot easier years ago. So let's see. The burst heal's not that great in the middle of combat, right? He sunbursts our Aurelian Soul. Okay. So can we safely just put, like, dudes on the board? What's this going to do? It's going to give him a fresh stun. The stun can go onto the messenger. Are we just going to die here? So the next kind of angle I'm looking at, like, this part's fine. We do have the Living Legends in hand to potentially stop some of this stuff. So it's like we can, say, play a Catalyst and then Living Legends, draw a bunch of cards and see if that's enough to stop him from lethaling us. But how much is this? 8, 10. Yeah, we're going to have to just do that. Okay. We didn't hit fuck all in there. Oh my goodness. Oh, we've managed to lose this one, haven't we? Oh man. You just don't have any blocks. We gotta have him mess something up. That's a Moonsilver, not a Crescent Strike. Fuck. Alright. Well, this one's on me. I feel like if I had taken a moment to read Sunburst, we probably would have pulled that off a little bit sooner on the Leona and maybe pulled off something a little bit differently there. I feel like that's a game. From that state, we should have probably just won that like 99% of the time, even when your Aurelian Soul decides to hit Moonfire or Moonsilver or whatever those shitty cards were. Like, you of course don't want to be hitting Moonsilver and then hitting the Messenger with your Aurelian Soul, but I feel like that game, if we had just taken the moment to read Sunburst and played it on Leona, then we would have been completely fine. But I just had it stuck in my head for it's like from the times that I play Sunburst were like back in Expedition, and since Expedition has been gone, has been since Leona got her upgrades and Sunburst got its upgrades, and so there's not a real excuse for not knowing what the cards in your deck do. But I think if I had, with the mental image that Sunburst only dealt 5 damage, I think we handled that game okay. But from the realistic perspective of it actually doing 6, we played that one quite poorly. So, it is what it is. Good set of games. We didn't need the check mark anyways. I had fun with that one, and I hope you did too. And so we could pull these decks up a little bit more, give them a quick chit-chat, if you will. And so I'm still reasonably happy with Sejuani Gangplank. It felt like is missing just a little bit of something. Like the last time we played it, we were playing that Plunder card that draws cards, the Freylord one, but I was also upset because I missed like a ridiculous number of Yordle Grifters, even though we were only playing 6 Freylord cards. And so that could be another space to where I'm just running with some recency bias and not liking it, but I could definitely see an angle like taking out the Dreadway and then cutting out like 1 Parlay and then adding in 2 copies of Babbling Bjerg. Because the games we lost with this are the ones that we just never drew our champions. Like, I'm pretty confident that we won 100% of the games to where we drew a champion in a relevant amount of time, and we lost 100% of the games to where we didn't draw a champion. And I feel like we played Sejuani like 0 times. Or we did like 0 Sejuani Frostbites, which was just completely unreal. And so I'm kind of like on board and okay with that. I could definitely also see the argument for just getting rid of the Powder Pandemoniums, but it is a very powerful card, and I think it probably has some merit in this format. The thing with like the Powder Pandemonium kind of builds is they do really shine more against decks kind of like Pirates, and those kind of like ground-based attacky decks to where you can use it both offensively and defensively, and we never really kind of ran into those spaces. I don't feel like the format is really kind of primed and ready for the Powder Pandemonium. Maybe that's why it didn't see play back in the day. But if you're looking along those lines, then I could see definitely say like maybe cutting out 1 or 2 Powder Pandemoniums and then not playing the full set of 3. But overall, I like the idea of this 1 good deck and 2 polarized ones, and I think Sejuani Gangplank is a good cornerstone to that. Up next with the Nautilus Twisted Fate, I was happy with this as well. We did run into a bit of issues to where we weren't playing a lot of expensive cards, and we did run into that situation to where we had to play it against Soraka Tom Kench, which isn't completely ideal given the makeup of the deck. I don't think it's a terrible match. I think it's most certainly one that you can win with a lot of frequency, but typically when you're playing against the Tom Kench deck, you're tuned a little bit differently, right? If you're just like ladder grinding, or if you're kind of tuning specifically for mid-rangey and later game decks, then you might play the full 3 copies of Vengeance. You might play the guy that generates treasure troves. You might play the sea monster that shrinks your opponent and gives all your sea monsters fearsome. Like, you have some slower options that you can pursue, and we just didn't have that in mind here. And so maybe you're willing to just accept that things can go wrong, and you want to play that matchup in that way. But I think that this is good, given the context of what we are looking to do with our deck, is played against the opposing aggro decks. Last but not least, our ramp deck, our Pride and Joy. I was still pretty happy with this. I feel like we should have taken down that last game. I'm a little salty that we played that one so poorly, but kind of is what it is. That's what you'll run into in the worlds of just playing ramp. And so I feel like this was probably a little bit too aggressive. I feel like at the end of the day, you could probably cut out the 2 copies of Weirding Stones and add in 2 copies of Avalanche and feel a lot better about yourself. It just kind of felt like, as we did find ourselves having to play against like Twisted Fate Swain, we are really kind of looking to just shut down that early game a little bit. Like, even if your opponent, like, as we kind of like look back at these games, I could see the opposing draw, which is completely realistic, of just playing a House Spider into Twisted Fate and having that like 6 damage coming at us and being like really problematic, especially as they have a slight burn package with the likes of Death's Hand and Nox and Fervor, and our inability to kill off the Leviathan and its way to just get in some of that kind of chunk damage. I think maybe that's a thought we should be considering here, is like getting rid of these Weirding Stones, putting in like a couple copies of Avalanche, and then maybe just getting in one more early game kind of card. Because I feel like, as much as I love being ultra greedy like this, we went a little bit over the edge. I think we could have picked up some edges there along the way. But nonetheless, that was good stuff. I had fun with that. I hope you did too. A lot of good ideas here if you're trying to take this as your ladder grinder to try and pick up that last check mark. Get that last little bit of that last little bit you need to get into the last chance gauntlet with all the buys. And so that is going to do it for us today. So I hope everyone enjoyed the video. I hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. So this is Bust, and we thank you for being here.